The views and opinions expressed on Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar are those of its host and guests exclusively. They do not represent any entity, organization, or municipality.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. He's a surgeon. He's a 100-ton boat captain. He's a lieutenant on Seaside Heights Beach Patrol in New Jersey. He's a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's Dr. Michael Kachmar. Need answers to your medical questions? We have them. Listen in to hear latest on medical topics related to all that and more.
There it is.
Hey!
Hello. It's a little bit of a delay. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar. Welcome to Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. Today's date is March 18th, year of our Lord, 2022. So we have Jeremy in the studio. Say hello, Jeremy.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
That's not Dr. Let me see. Let's put Jeremy's name there because we got our new
I'm not
machine
Dr.
here.
Kachmar.
There's Jeremy. Jeremy, say hello to everybody.
You know me. I'm your old pal, Jeremy.
What kind of shirt you got in it, Jeremy? What is that? Is that some kind of political...
Chucky. Child's Play.
Child's Play.
Yeah.
Is that one of your games?
I am
there?
Chucky. You want to play?
So today we're a medical political talk show. We have today a couple things. We want to continue our discussion. We're going to talk a little bit about. First of all, we're going to talk about some politics, and then as we usually do, the second part of the show is a little bit medicine. We're going to talk about obesity again. I'm banging this drum with that because it's a real problem. We've had some cases in the hospital, and they're very upsetting.
Yeah.
And so I want to throw it out there about what the significance of it, political, but also medical.
Sure, yeah.
There's a lot of people like, oh, don't criticize anybody.
Now,
but
Mike,
I'm sorry.
Last show, what did we talk about? We talked about the difference between misinformation and disinformation. Am I right?
Right. We talked about the
Okay.
difference between dis and miss.
Yeah, so that's a great show, folks. If you want to catch it,
Right, that was a good one.
We are on so many platforms; it's almost mind-boggling. But we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on iTunes, we're on Yahoo, Google, Spotify, Rumble. You name it, we're there. So there's no excuse for you missing any of these shows.
No.
Whatever platform you desire, just subscribe. And then if it's YouTube, for instance, you click that bell notification so you'll get notified for when we do go live, because this is a fully, user-friendly show. You can type your questions in and we'll answer them now.
One of my friends who's older, he subscribed to my channel on Spotify. And if you subscribe, you'll listen to one show and it'll go right into the other show.
Right.
And he's like, I couldn't stop it. I listened to 3 of your shows. So we really encourage that.
great.
Yeah, we really want that.
That's
so
great.
Also, if you want to send us an email for the Spotify people on podcast right now, it's Dr. Kachmar, that's DrKachmar at iCloud.com.
Yeah.
And
for
where else can they get
medical
us?
information that you're going to hear about on this show today, you want to go to JerseyShoreFootAndLegCenter.com. Dr. Michael Kachmar is a specialist in podiatric medicine, right?
Well, I'm a board certified in reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon. I'm a doctor of podiatric
And
medicine.
that never ceases to amaze me. I got to tell you, that's so freaking impressive. I'm ashamed just sitting across from him here.
Well,
this guy can put a foot back together again with almost all the pieces returned in, right? Yeah,
That's right. That's
only
right.
with only
That's
a couple
right.
of pieces,
couple
left
screws
over.
left over. Only a couple screws left over.
You don't really need those, do you?
No. Oh, we have Joanne saying hello. Hello, Joanne.
Hey,
Joanne Lightbody Duffy. Hello, Joanne.
Oh, she's been with us from the start.
So
hasn't
listen,
she?
Joanne, we got to give a shout out. Joanne was down in Florida with her granddaughter and daughter, and she contracted COVID.
Oh.
I think she was on a ventilator for 40 41 days. I
Are
might be
you
wrong in that.
kidding?
She is up and walking around and really coming around. It's a miracle. God was looking over her.
Oh, thank God.
And I think it has to do with that Irish blood.
that it
maybe.
is, yeah.
The Dolphins.
They don't.
Well, that's her husband. That's the maiden name. But I think she's, I don't know what her nationality is.
You're
right? 'Cause
Irish. You're Irish, especially around this time of the year. You don't mess around with those.
But I'm going to say
people.
something. I really believe, not saying that it's bad medicine up here, but I think that her being down in Florida,
Yeah.
I think they really had a good handle on COVID.
Right.
And here she says, I am by Janelle now. So she's up on the boardwalk.
Oh.
Wow. Her daughter's working up in the, let me get rid of this. Her daughter's working up in the boardwalk right now so we can see. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, Irish.
Joanne Lightbody, she's Irish. Well, that's great, Joanne. We really appreciate you chiming in. But I think it was 41 days on a ventilator. And they, you know what they had? I mean, every day they're going to move the patient so she don't get a bed sore. And I saw it when she came back here in the hospital. And she couldn't even hardly get out of bed. They had to lift her up. Now she's walking. She's doing great.
God bless you.
We talk about our medical, how great we are.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Amazing. Her
Well,
family.
I think you were in the right place at the right time, Joanne, because it seems you've come through it very well, right?
Yeah. Well, listen, it's one of those things. You got, she's lucky, and a lot of people didn't make it.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that she did make it. Right, Jeremy?
Yep, thank God.
So let's
for
go.
that.
Let's start the show. So let's go to the.
I
I'm
just
sorry.
want to say,
Sure,
we do try to do a live show every week, and you're going to see us visually on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Our podcasts are just audio. So if you want to take full advantage of what's going on in the show, for instance, if you are hard of hearing on Facebook right now, you have live closed captions that you can just read if you're missing what's going on, which
Right.
I just discovered myself, and I think that's fantastic.
Here's her thing. So I was a little bit wrong. So it says 21 days on the vent, 45 days sedated at the I guess it's
Celebration Hospital.
hospital. That might be the name of it. So I'm sorry. So it was 20, but still 21 days on a ventilator, and then 45 days sedated. So that was a long time.
Celebrate.
Yeah, so that must be some great hospital. Well, shout out to all the doctors and nurses there for saving a life and doing such a great job. We really appreciate
Those
you guys.
are the true miracle workers.
Yep.
2 rehabs.
Two
Holy
rehabs.
cow,
Yeah.
Joanne.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's really amazing. So
Yeah. Well, she's been with us forever.
yeah,
You know?
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and we're happy for her. You know?
We could show her here. There she is. So the crop. Oh, here she is. So I don't know how to make that any bigger, but
Or a different color.
yeah. Well, we're working on it, Joanne. We're a little bit, shaky here.
Sure thing. Yeah.
So let's get back to our. Let's go to our whiteboard. So here we are. I want to talk about this because this is something
we
that
got 2 new words this week, right?
right. And
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of people who get these two confused. We're going to reference 2 articles, but here's the deal. There's this thing they're throwing around now. It's called equity. Equity. Equity is different than equality. Okay? You have equity and you have equality. So let me make the 2 things. Equality, remember, in the Constitution, we talk about all men are created equal.
Yeah.
Equality. So equality, and there's a lot of definitions, but it's opportunity. Everybody has the same resources or opportunities.
Everybody's equal.
You give everybody has the same resources and opportunities. You say, well, what's the difference? What's the difference between equality and equity?
Because I got to tell you, Mike, that equality sounds pretty darn good.
Well, equity, here's the thing with difference with equity. It allocates the exact resources and opportunities to reach equal outcome. So here's the difference if you really boil it down. Equality is opportunity, equal opportunity. Everybody gets the of opportunity.
The same size slice
of equality. It actually could say equality
from the pie.
But when you talk about equity, you get basically equality of outcome or equal outcome. It gets confusing, the words, but it's different. I'm going to explain how this comes out.
I'm gonna need.
okay.
I'm gonna need an
So one way to think about it is this. Let's just say you and I go to college and we're taking the same course. You got the same money. You know, college is free. Let's say you're
free college, dude.
Yeah, well, just to say your parents pay for it. Okay. My parents pay for it. Money's not the issue.
Yeah, good.
Physically, you know, you're just as good as I am. Let's just say you got the same IQ.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. Now, I go to college. I work my ass off.
Yeah.
I study hard every day. I don't really party. I don't do drugs. I'm just, really the nose to the grindstone.
Right.
Work and I get A's.
Bookworm.
Okay. You, on the other hand,
I'm partying. I joined a fraternity. Right. All right. This is Animal House in the making.
Right.
And I'm so bad. I'm on double secret probation.
Right.
Yeah.
You're the Animal House. What happens is you get an F.
What?
You get an F.
For friendly.
Yeah. I get an A. Now, in a
awesome.
Right. So in a situation where we talk about equality, we all had this. The government, the powers be, we both had the same opportunity. We should make sure that our society gives the same opportunity to everybody, regardless of race, color, creed. Yeah. Okay, that's how it's been. Now, has it worked always like that? Not necessarily, but that's what you want. That's the paradigm you want. Now, what happens is with equity, you got the F, I got the A. So now along comes this idea of equity. So what do? We have to have the equal outcome. So how do you make that out? How do you give us the equal outcome then? Well, take the A away from me and give me a C, and give you a C.
I get a C too?
Right. We both get a C.
And all I did was party.
Right.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Okay, say, well, that's equal. That means that. So now it's equal. It's equality of outcome.
I didn't even have to try.
And you could even say the word equal outcome. So we're guaranteed equal outcome. Right. Now the next guy or next girl is going to come around and go like this. It's like, why should I work hard? Why should I work hard? Now next time am I going to kill myself if I'm not going to get the A that I worked hard for? Where you dick around and get an F
but
and get a C?
You can come to the same kegger I'm going to.
Do you understand how it kills society?
Yeah.
How it starts to mess around with things? And so I want to talk about.
And then you worry about like why other countries have smarter students than we have, because it's choice too. Choice is when you make everything equal. Then the next step is the individual's choice.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here a little bit, but this is, I think, similar to affirmative action, and people probably don't even know what that was. But there was in this country we had things weren't equal, so you would take people and try to put them in positions, say if they didn't represent the population, and I'm all for. Let's just say you have a police department and 50% of the population is black, 50% of the population is white, and your police department is 90% white.
Yeah.
So what you'd want to do is you'd really try to bring on more black police officers to be more representative of the community. That's great. But what happens is in some other places or sometimes is that they would lower the standard to get more people in of that race.
Right.
That's not good.
That's not good.
So with when I see going on now with equity, they could be and they are lowering the standards. So I want to go to this article here, okay? So let's go to the magic phone here. And sorry, Jeremy. Jeremy's. Right. So this is an article made by Michael Gonzalez. So this is Michael Gonzalez. And this is out of the Heritage Foundation. So it's on the screen right now. Let me get rid of this, Jeremy, here, so we could see it. So this is Biden's embrace of equity means he's abandoned the quest for equality. Let me read that again. Biden's embrace of equity means he's abandoned the quest for equality. Now, you guys could read this. This is the Heritage Foundation article. The author is Michael Gonzalez. That's Michael Gonzales. And
EZ.
I'm sorry, EZ. So he's a senior fellow, and there's a senior fellow at Heritage.
Heritage's Allison Center for Foreign Policy, and the Angeles T. Arredondo e Pluribus Unum Fellow.
Right. So he's not small potatoes. So here we are, and you could read this whole article, but there's a couple takeaways. Okay.
We got number one here. What's that?
Well, one is his article is saying that President Biden preaches unity but practices division, and equity has now come to mean the functional opposite of equality.
Number two.
Yeah. Equity means treating Americans unequal to ensure that outcomes are equalized. The old, tired, and failed Marxist standard.
Marxian standard.
Now,
Yeah, that's number three, by the way, for those.
right,
listening.
and I just want people to see that, because this is where you go with Mao preached this, Stalin preached this. The killing fields in what do you call it, in Cambodia, and even the Soviet Union. Stalin.
Yeah.
That everybody has to have an equal outcome. Now, of course, the thing didn't work out because corruption comes into play. Yeah. I guess it's the old Animal Farm, George Orwell, Animal Farm.
And people. The thing about all of this stuff is that people are so individually different. You don't know how everybody can be affected by the changes you make to try to curb everyone to that equality, because with free choice, with just regular choices of an individual, it doesn't mean that they're going to follow them. So if you make say, just out of like what we were talking about there, a student, and he studies hard, and then the other one's partying. And that's like the old story with the squirrel. There was the one squirrel that was busy saving all of the nuts and stuff, and then the other squirrel, he just took his time partying and whatever. And then when winter came, he didn't have enough food for himself. And so how equal are you then? It's the choices these we as Americans make.
Right.
We may be more harmful to ourselves, right. And then no matter what you put install for us to be better or whatever, it takes us to make those steps.
Well, here's the thing, Jeremy. Do
you see what I mean, though? I mean, to get to that equality.
Well, what happens is that my opinion, to get equal outcomes.
Yeah.
Equal outcomes.
See, that's the hard part, though.
Right. Equal outcomes. Well, to get equal outcomes, if you instead of equal opportunity, it's two different things. Mm-hmm. Just I'm trying to make this point. Equal opportunity is different than equal outcomes. Okay, because if you give everybody equal opportunity, you're not going to have everybody have equal outcomes.
No, because everybody's got a different mind,
right.
and they might not want what you're offering,
or they might not be able to do it, or there's a lot of reasons. But let me just step here. We'll talk about it at the end. So
how do you create the other when you have those different points of view?
You can't.
You can't.
No. So Biden right now, it's the executive order on advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government, part of an unprecedented barrage of such orders. It calls for an ambitious whole of government equity agenda that smacks of a great society for identity politics. I want people to read this, because what's happening here is that this is the federal government right now. This is Biden's mantra. They're pushing for
Section 8 calls for, what was that? Calls for the head of each agency.
So this is called Section 8 calls for the head of each agency to increase coordination, communication, engagement with community-based organizations and civil rights organizations. So that is to say, insider network organization with no grassroots support involvement. It threatens to be full Employment Act for identitarian affiliate groups like U.S. and Asian American. Bottom line here is I just want people to look at this. I don't want to get boiled down in the weeds here, Jeremy, because but what I'm saying is that there's a difference. This is our agenda now. We're going towards, what do you need, Jeremy?
No, I was interested in that woke bit.
Okay, here, hang on, let me find it for you. Here. I'll get you the woke bit.
Yeah, right there. It will likely be a woke interpretation, considering the definition's exhaustive inclusion of every victim category under the sun. So undeserved communities that have been denied such treatment, such as Black, Latino, Indigenous, and Native American persons, Asian Americans, and Pacific Islanders, and other persons of color. This usual list even includes persons who live in rural areas, a nod, one supposes, to the left's new awareness of its vulnerability there.
Right, and don't get me. Let me make a point here, because I don't want to make people think that we're saying don't help people. I want to make a point here. You could go this way and say these people out there are under they're marginalized. They don't have privilege. This all bangs into the white privilege and all of that. Here's what I'm saying is that this is two thoughts here, and there's good people on both sides. But I want people to understand that there's a difference between these two philosophies, and it's like night and day. There's a big difference between equal opportunity, all right, giving people equal opportunity across the board, no matter if they're black, white, in a wheelchair, blind. You got to accommodate them. That's equal opportunity. That's different than giving them guaranteed equal outcomes.
So no matter what they do
you understand?
In the pursuit of that, they're still going to get that same equal outcome irregardless.
Well, a lot of people will say, "Oh, Mike, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. We got to give everybody everything." Well,
everybody's saying that, by the way.
Well, when you're forgetting a crucial thing here, and it's called human nature.
Yeah. Well, okay? That's what I was saying.
Let me ask you this, Jeremy. Are you going to work like a dog?
No.
Let's just say, let me here. We have safety nets. There's a certain level of safety nets. But and there's people who cannot work. They're blind, they have no legs, right. They're mentally ill or deficient, whatever. But there's other people who are lazy.
Lazy. Yes.
They rather go out and party.
Right.
So you're going to take my stuff away from me that I bust my ass, I work my ass off. So they're going to say, you could say, well, Mike, you're lucky. You got that inside of you. You're tough. I'm not so tough. I gotta sit home. My point is that it goes against human nature. I'm trying to tell people they tried it. Mao tried it. Stalin. We're all equal. George Orwell. Yeah. All animals are equal until they took over, got rid of the human beings, and then who took over? The pigs.
Yeah. Freaking pigs, man.
Right?
Yeah.
So my point is, so you understand where I'm coming from with this?
I understand, man. I understand.
So let's look at another thing here.
So down with pork.
Down with pork.
Yeah.
So let me see here. We're gonna go by so this one here is another good article here, and let me see who wrote this. Hang on a second. So, Jeremy, you understand what we're saying now?
Yeah, I understand it. But I knew it. That's what I was trying to say. But you just said it better. The people's individuality. How do you say that?
Right. Now, I want to throw this out, too.
But that's what's always going to get into the way. Whatever well-placed plan you put into play, it's those individuals that are going to mess it. There's a scientific law for that. No matter what you plan, you can't plan for the
Right. So
you know what I'm saying?
Right. That's it.
Yeah,
so here, this is very confusing stuff. Let me tell you.
Heisenberg uncertainty principle.
Right. We're pundits here. So we're opinion journalists. These are our opinions. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to give you another article here, Jeremy. Yeah. So this is another. Let's get it here. Let me try to get up on the thing here. So this is another. Whoa, Jeremy, what do you got there?
What's that? No, that's not me.
No,
is that me?
So here it is right here. No. So this is an opinion article by Christian Watson. And this was published in December 30th, 2021. And I don't know this was in the OCR. I don't know what that is. It's an opinion article here. This is called The Trap of Racial Equality. Racial Equity. The Trap of Racial Equity. Now, follow me on this one. Can you see it on the thing there?
Yeah.
Let me get rid of this thing here. This is all these commercials coming here.
Yeah.
So here it is right here, and I love this. The concepts of equality and equity are often used interchangeably by pundits, but they could not be more different morality. All right?
Mm-hmm.
More morally. Let's use the definitions put forward by Vice President Kamala Harris, someone for whom race has been, and she goes on to this whole thing. I'm not going to go in here, but I just want to point out to people, right? And here's the article here. You could read it and really look at it to understand. I just want to bring to people's attention that there's a big difference between equality and equity. And we all are going down this road. We're all going down this road of we want to give everybody equal opportunity. But you are going to then lower the standards. You're going to bring people into positions that they don't have the experience or the credentials. It's very similar to affirmative action. And this is a hot topic because affirmative action, I think that you need to help to bring the level field. That's called equality of opportunity. You understand the difference, Jeremy?
Yeah.
As opposed to equity. So then, are you going to bring in people who are not qualified to do this stuff because you want everybody to have an equal outcome, or just give people money? They're talking about it now. Let's have a national income. Let's give everybody a certain amount of money. I have young friends of mine who say, listen, these people, they're not smart enough. They were born in poverty, so we got to give them stuff. I said, well, where are you going to get that stuff? Well, we're going to take it from the rich and give it to the poor, like Robin Hood. And I say, okay, what if they don't want to give up their money? Well, we'll take it from them. We'll put them in jail. You see how I'm going? I don't think that it's going to work.
In certain places in the world, when you give a leader emergency powers that give them access to bank accounts, that is a very likely possibility for their future. Yes.
Again, I want to point it out to people. Go in the dictionary. But reason why I'm bringing this up, the difference, is because it's becoming very, very critical now. This government, this presidency, is pushing for equity, which is equality of outcome. Very difficult to follow. Not equality of outcome.
Yeah.
We want equality of opportunity.
Right.
There should be everybody in this country should have the opportunity to work, to make money, to get a house.
But now you're opening up another can of worms there.
Why?
Well, I mean, if people want to be doctors, but they just can't get the grades, they can't be doctors.
No.
Or lawyers.
Okay. In my model, yes. So in my model, because the cream rises to the top, we'll give them some kind of job. You have the safety net. Yeah. But now I have other people.
But because of the individual, and you're giving everybody equal opportunity. Okay.
If they can't make it,
individual isn't going to settle for something that's less than what you've got.
Okay, so then you're telling me you want to go the other way and have equality, which is equity of outcome.
No, I don't even want that.
No, but that's what they want.
There's got to be a third possibility here.
There is none. I hate to tell you, not in this world. So what you do,
one we can't think of, but there's got to be a way.
Well, you think that, but so what you do is you make them doctors, even though they're not qualified.
Right.
And pay them the same amount as the other guy gets or the other girl. That, in my opinion, is where we're going with equity.
Yeah.
Or equality of outcomes. So you say there's got to be something else. You come up with something.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
You know who came up with something else? Mao.
Yeah.
And Stalin.
That's thinking cruelly outside of the box. That's a terrible box to think outside of. But I'm saying there's got to be a better way of peace. I mean, we can't continue to call ourselves, no matter where you live in the world, or where you come from. We can't call ourselves civilized if we can't. Listen. Civilized.
No, listen. I think you're missing a point here. We're all equal under God's eye. We're equal under the law.
Yeah.
13th Amendment. Freed the slaves. 14th Amendment. I think the 14th Amendment. We're all equal under the law. We're all equal under God. When I say equal, all of us have the right, the God-given right for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I don't.
No,
They're not God-given.
Well,
they're man-given.
Okay, well, but let's just say that I believe that they're God-given and they are inalienable. In other words, you can't take them away.
Yeah.
Whoever gave them to you, or you got them, you were born with them. You should have, you should have the right for life. Nobody should take your life away from you. You should be able to defend your life. That means if you have the right to live, you have the right to protect yourself and not be killed. Mm-hmm. You have the right, life, liberty. Liberty, you know what the word, you got to understand liberty means. Liberty means not living on your knees or on the ground with a boot on your neck.
Yeah.
That's what liberty means. Oh. Dignity. Be able to raise a family, irrespective of your color, creed, whatever, religion. And then the other one is pursuit of happiness. And I put that, founding fathers were talking about happiness and property. But to own things. There's a lot of worlds, a lot of countries, you can't own property.
The definition of the pursuit of happiness was to acquire.
They initially wanted to put property in there because if in England, one of the reasons why we all came over to this country is they didn't allow, people couldn't own property. And if you own property, that you could have trees, cut down trees, you could farm on it.
To make it such a big, like the pursuit of happiness, I didn't realize that was just because the happiness was to get property.
No. They wanted to put, instead of happiness, the word they wanted to put in there, and the thought was property. You can look at the Hamilton papers. The reason why is owning property is very important. Very important. You may not think it, but if you don't own property, you don't own anything. People have more control over you. So it was a thought that property. So happiness. So they took it out of there because you have some doubts about it. So happiness. What does happiness mean to some people? But maybe not owning property.
It was a smart change of words that they did, because that's looking into the future. Then, the pursuit of happiness was property and attaining more of it.
Right.
Now the pursuit of happiness and what's taught about the pursuit of happiness in schools, it's not the same as it was then.
Okay, so let's finish the premise here. So we're getting back to equity and equality. The founding fathers and the way we had it in this country is that you have had the ability to have equal opportunities. Unfortunately, and we all know this, that when we're born, we're not equal with the same talents. I can't throw a baseball.
Yeah.
95 miles an hour every. I can't be Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
I can't. I'm not Tom Cruise. We go on and on and on. We don't have it. So what? Why should I could tell you right now? If you want to believe in this equity, that I want. Why does Oprah Winfrey have? She's worth $2 billion? Let's take the money away from her. Why? Or Tom Cruise. Or anybody. Why should anybody have any money? If you're talking about equity, we want it. Why they were born special, but they rose to the top. Now we should tax them at a certain rate, but do we want to, like what's Dr. Zhivago in Russia? If you read the book Dr. Zhivago, watch the movie. In Russia, when they had the revolution and the counter-revolution, Dr. Zhivago was a poet and he was a wealthy man. He owned 2 homes, and the one home he had in Moscow was a mansion. And when the Soviets, when the communists took over, they took over his house, and they also inscripted him into the military. He had to take care of wounded soldiers. He had no choice in the matter. And there was the Reds and the Whites fighting. But when he finally got home, he went to his house, and there was 10 families living in there. 10. And he walks in. There's a great scene in the book and in the movie, and they go, "Comrade, welcome." And the woman comes up, and the house is all disheveled, and they go, "Comrade, how could you have lived in this house? We now have 10 families here." And he looks at her and he goes, "Yeah, it's a better situation." And he goes up to the room. They gave him and his family, one little room. They got a potbelly stove. They're trying to burn wood because they're freezing to death. That's what we're going towards. That's what you're looking at. So if you want to buy this, and I'm telling you, you'll never get to this. This is the early steps of it.
Well,
you understand what you're talking about? You're talking about.
No, I gotcha. But the problem with that pursuit of happiness, it only talks about the end game, okay? And it doesn't give you the directions on how to get there.
Well, but here's the thing, Jeremy. You're missing the point. Not everybody's equal.
No, but we're talking we were talking about equity. Everybody, to
But not everybody's equal in regard to their talents.
Yeah.
Why is Tom Cruise worth $500 million?
He figured out the direction.
But that's not the point.
For that pursuit of
it's
happiness.
not. But if you go in the model, right? But you can't have it both ways. Tom Cruise, Bruce Springsteen, is worth $500 million.
That I can't friggin' understand.
Forget about it. He's talented. But what I'm getting at, if you want to go down this road of equity of outcome, look at me, Jeremy. Listen to me.
Yeah. If
you want to have equity of outcome, all right, then you're going to have to take the money away from Bruce Springsteen. You're going to have to take the money away from Oprah Winfrey, whoever, and give it to other people. Redistribute the wealth. It's done before. It was done in Russia. It was done with Mao. It was done in Venezuela. And where does it end up? It doesn't end up well. Why? It goes against human nature.
Yeah,
this is what I'm trying to tell you.
I get it.
And with regard to the Constitution, happiness and all that, happiness is a term that could mean a lot of things to other people.
It changes throughout time.
Right. But if you own property, the reason why the founding fathers back in the day is because in England they took all the property away from you. You were a Russian serf. You lived you worked for somebody else. You didn't have your own property, so the food that you raised wasn't yours. You could only have a little percentage of it. Yeah. But getting back to this thing, this government right now, we're going down a Marxist, in my opinion, a Marxist idea. It's like Animal House. Everybody's created equal, and if they don't have an equal outcome, then there's a problem somewhere. It's somebody's fault.
Yeah.
And not everybody's born with the same talents. So if you go on that premise, then like how many? I know Russia now went into a a more capitalist, and China's an interesting thing too, because China has a very aggressive government. There's no freedom of speech, no freedom of religion, no freedom from fear. I mean, you can't own guns or anything, but you do have a certain amount of people, maybe 200-300 million people, who belong to the Communist Party and do very well. So there's a level of capitalism there. So it's kind of funny. So and I think right now you talk to Chinese, they say their model's the best. They're going to be the world dominant population. That's the model to follow.
Yeah.
And we're a declining society. Our way of it, equality of opportunity, is no good. You're going to go with equity or equality of outcome. The only thing is, in China, about 1 billion people are slaves. They work like dogs.
Yeah.
So you got to have. There's always got to be I don't want to say slave, but there's always have that. I think we have the. I'm going to finish with this. We have the best model right now, based on the founding fathers looked at human nature and looked at all the inadequacies, the inequalities. Some people are better than others. Some people are faster than others. Some people are taller than others. Some people are smarter. And some people believe in God, some people don't believe in God. There's all kinds of things that you have. And you make up something where we all could live together and all have what? Free
will.
Find these inalienable rights. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Show me a model where you're going to make it where you could guarantee life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why we had the Civil War, in my opinion, is that a lot of people in this country did not believe that all men are created equal means all men and women. And they shuffled out black.
If they were God-given rights, there wouldn't be an amendment to add in no slavery.
Right, exactly. So the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments back in 1865 and I think 68, one freed the slaves, the other one equal under the law, and I think the blacks got the vote. So my point is that was over 100 years ago. Think about it. So this country is an amazing thing, and it works. And for all the rough riding, I think that what's happening.
I think right now we've just lost our way, and we need to get back to that same.
We're experimenting. We're doing an experiment right now.
Yeah.
We're doing an experiment.
That sense of being an American we took pride in that, and pride was enough. I mean, pride's not a great thing. I know it's a sin, but there's nothing wrong with being happy about your country, happy about your neighbors that you live next to, happy about what your government's doing. I mean, it's actually the very least any of us can ask for.
Well, the way I look at it is that we're doing an experiment right now, and people on both sides, the left and right, they're 99% are good people. I understand when I talk to my younger friends, they want everybody to have an equal opportunity. They want everybody to have life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Right. And in their mind, the way to have that happen is, basically just take from the rich, give to the poor.
Right,
right. Give. If you can't be a doctor because you're not smart enough, you can't do the work. Yeah. Well, then give you the degree and give you the money so this way you're happy. That's not.
But what I was saying about losing our way, right?
Right.
It took a pandemic, right?
Right.
That only lasted really 2.5 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did that change humanity in this?
No.
Because if you recall, all throughout the pandemic, everybody was saying over and over until we got sick of it, I just want to find our new normal. I just want to find what the new normal. I want to go back to feeling normal again. That's why I say I think we've lost our way somewhere, because the American people don't feel normal anymore.
Well, we have seminal events. Who's this, Jeremy? Somebody's giving us a comment here.
Who's it? Oh, Jeanette.
Thank you, Jeanette.
She says, Dr. Cachmore, you should run for president.
Thank you, Jeanette. We like that. So we have a little bit. We have somebody chiming in
Jeanette,
here.
Can I be at least the VP?
We got Jeanette here. Let's see. Add to the broadcast. There she is.
Actually,
Jeanette.
Screw that. I want real power. Give me a speaker of the house.
That's so cute.
Yeah,
that's so cute. Well, thank you. So what I'm saying, Jeremy, is this: we lost our way. We have these events. You could say we lost our way with the Civil War. You could say we lost our way in the 60s with the civil rights. Yeah. We lost our way. There's been 1812. The Britons came in here and they destroyed the Capitol. Yeah. Yeah. We've lost our way. What's happening there right now, though, we haven't destroyed this country. The Constitution is still there, the Bill of Rights, and I believe what's going to happen is that we have this experiment with Marxism. And
thank you, Jeanette.
Thank you, Jeanette. We appreciate we have comments here.
I get to be VP.
And I believe that what you're looking at right now is that's why we have this show here, and we're trying to make people think. Listen, going down, get me back to my premise. Both sides are right, both sides are wrong. It's how you want to achieve this equality.
Right.
The founding fathers believed in equality of opportunity.
Right.
Okay. Now, did they practice it? They still had slaves and everything. But then the Civil War came along, and they knew. And then 800,000 men, maybe I don't know, died fighting over. They say it was to do with the states, but it was also had a lot to do with slavery.
Yeah.
And then after that, we passed these laws,
Emancipation
which is amazing.
Proclamation.
But that Emancipation Proclamation, that was during the war. That was a temporary war declaration. That was different. We passed amendments. 13th, 14th, 15th amendments, which are unbelievable. And then in the 60s, the civil rights. And we continue on. And I'm just saying is that I don't think that this idea of equity, not equality, equity, is on the same vein. I think it's going down more a different road now. We were on this good road. And that's like you said, we lost our way. We were going on this road. We took a fork, and this fork is going. We've done this before in this country.
We're off road now.
We're going down this thing of communism, of Marxism, and people say, well, no, it's not so bad anymore. Look at China, maybe. Well, now Russia, you can't use that because everybody's anti-Russian. Right. But they'll say you could have a touchy-feely democratic socialism. Right. That's different, and I'm telling you, it's still bad. You don't want to look at what the rights they have in China. You can't teach your kids religion. Religion they got to get rid of. They got to get rid of free speech. They throttle you down. You have a government that is got your boot on your neck. And I'm telling people in this country, we went down a wrong. We got to bring it back, but we still cannot give up on civil rights. We cannot give up on prejudice and what's the word? Stereotype. All of that. With the sexes, everything. I go back. We're Christian. We talk about what Jesus Christ said.
Yeah.
And Jesus Christ, follow the readings of the Bible, but also the founding fathers. Everybody in this country is created equal. I believe that in my heart. I don't think anybody is less than anybody else. I know some people though could throw a ball faster. Some people could act. Some people could drive a sports car faster, right? Some people could shoot a gun better. Some people could, fly a plane better. I think we should continue to reward those people for being that way. So we give them impetus to keep going. Like if you're going to invest, tens of $millions of dollars in a company, right? Put yourself out there and work hard, and then you are successful. What are we going to do? Go away and take it away from you like they did in Venezuela? Take companies away? Once you get successful, who's going to do it again? Do you understand? It's human nature. Are you going to, when you have to let, I want to say, the cream rise to the top. And that's one of the reasons why this country is so great. And it's lifting a lot of people out of poverty. And I feel bad right now because we're going down this other way, which I think is counterproductive, and I don't think it's going to be beneficial for most people. I think it's going to stifle innovation, and I think it could breed people being intolerant, and it's not a good way to go. So you want to make any comments on that? So difference between let's go right here. So do you understand now?
Yeah.
Equality, equity.
Yeah.
And so equity is basically equal outcome. We don't, and as opposed to equal opportunities. So equal. Everybody leave this. Listen. So let's say it. Equal opportunities, good. Equal outcomes, bad. If you do it this way. Yeah. It sounds good though. You say, Mike, what are you talking about? We want to have everybody have equal outcome. But the problem is they're different. And think about what I'm saying, because if you give equal opportunities, you just made the point. Not everybody's going to have an equal outcome. Right. So how do you fix that? Well, you want to have safety nets. You want to have, I think the lowest level, in other words, like the poor among us, should still have life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying? We should be able to do that. The people who have made it, the people who are successful, who could throw a ball 90 miles an hour, the Bruce Springsteens of our country, the Tom Hanks, the Mike Cat, whoever you're talking about. We should be able to lift our fellow people up and give them basic, good housing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but unfortunately,
that's what the government should do. Unfortunately,
you still have those people that are lazy. They don't want to do anything, and yet they have this feeling that they're owed something. You know those people, right?
No, I don't know. I don't know anybody like that. And what do you do with them?
Those
you just told me
horrible people.
Well, all right, but listen.
But they ruin. See the difference between equality and equity. Right in the middle of that, we should have put in parentheses people, because it's people that F the whole thing up.
Okay, so what do you do with them?
What can you do with them?
I'm asking you, what can you do with them?
Well, what can you do? Because you're setting me up for a trap again.
Adolf, what can we do with them, Adolf? Adolf.
You're setting me up for a trap again.
What can we do with them, Adolf? Yeah. Those people?
But what can you do?
Did you just use that word, those people?
Those people. I'm saying I was guilty of being one of those people.
Did you watch that movie? I got the trap door here. I'm going to press the button. You're going to go into the hole with the... No, we don't use those people. See how easy it is, though? See, you went down that trap.
I'll go south. Folks.
See?
All right. So them folks, I was one of them. Yeah. I was one of them. I did nothing with my life for a while before I found direction and purpose.
You know what you found? You know what you found?
What did I find?
Opportunity.
That's
what you found.
Yes.
You didn't find equal outcome because nobody handed you.
I also for that opportunity, I worked my ass off to create that opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
And it feels good.
It's rewarding. But that now try explaining that with the rewarding feeling in your chest to somebody who doesn't have a frame of reference for it.
That's why we had this show. That's
why
we're
they're going to go through their lives wondering, well, what am I doing so different? I should get everything too. That feeling of being that you the world owes you something.
So Dr. Zhivago, they grabbed a hold of him. They took all his property away. Now he had his summer house, which was a mansion. You know, he went to go there, and it was in the winter, and it was boarded up, and it said do not enter on penalty of death. Because the government took it over. They seized it.
Eminent domain.
Well, yeah. But so my point is that when you start going down this road of equal opportunity, which is equity, how are you going to achieve that?
I honestly think we've cracked it on this one show.
No, I tell you how you're going to achieve it. You're going to take by force, if you have to, from the haves and give it to the have-nots. And we try to do that now, but if you look at what happened in China with Mao, they killed, I don't know, maybe 40, 50 million people. Stalin killed 20 million, taking their shit away. He killed the kulaks. They were peasant farmers. My grandfather was one of them, and he got out of there. But what they did is he wanted to have all the grain, all their food, all their stuff given to the government. Right. And because he wanted to finance an industrial complex. And they said, no, we're not going to do it. And he said, well, if you don't, you're going to die. And they said, go ahead. And what they did is he killed about 2 million of them, maybe more than that. Jesus. Just going in, and that's where it goes. Look at Venezuela right now. Yeah. Venezuela, I don't know how many people got killed, but the country is sitting on one of the biggest oil reserves, and people don't have enough food to eat.
Yeah, like I mean,
you follow what I'm saying,
I was
Jeremy?
spouting off earlier about just how we are and what we think we deserve and stuff like that. But who knows? Maybe we're civilized. Remember, I was saying we're coming from. Well, let me finish.
Go ahead.
We're civilized, but maybe we're not. Maybe we're not civilized, Mike. Maybe every generation likes to feel they are, but the sad.
What do you mean civilized?
The
Jeremy?
sad.
Well, before you go down, what? Give me a definition. What do you mean?
Definition. We're going to have to look up.
Well,
what the definition?
Well, give me wing it right now. What do you think civilized? What do you think? You're using the word. What do you think it means?
I feel civilized enough to know that violence doesn't answer every question. Okay, civilized enough where if I see people in need, I, without any prodding from anyone else, will give something of myself to make them better. Okay, that kind of civility. Where we're, I mean, look at Charles Dickens. Keeping Christmas in our hearts all the year long. That kind of thing. That feeling where you feel like you're civilized. You're not a mindless brute. Right. And that's all I hope for all of us.
So what happens when you have... I understand what you're saying, civilized, but no.
Maybe what I'm saying is we're not those type of people.
Jeremy,
maybe we are brutes.
Jeremy, I'll tell you this. I don't know where you come up with maybe. We're not. We're absolutely not.
Yeah.
You got people chopping people's heads off. You got guys killing their wives who are pregnant. You got genocide. More people killed by genocide. You had the killing fields in Cambodia. You got things in Somalia. I mean, the world, human nature is still very, very brutal. Ugly. People murder, kill, rape. How many rapes are going on every day? How many go to Chicago and
how
many
civilized is that?
Let me say, how many murders are in Philadelphia this year? I hear it's gonna hit 100. How many people murdered each other in this country? Right. Then you have suicides. April 20 to April 21, 100,000 people OD'd on drugs. You just had somebody's blasting my phone. You just had what do you call it? 4 cadets, West Point cadets in Florida on spring break, OD on fentanyl, fentanyl laced cocaine. Yeah. Cocaine laced with fentanyl.
And what was
I don't even know if the kids died. They were in critical condition a couple days ago.
Yeah, yesterday, and I was telling you this on the way here. A 13-year-old boy in Texas killed 9 people.
Right. Well,
because he was driving.
Illegally. Maybe it was a mistake, but all of a sudden 13 people died. There was just right now in Missouri, there was I I don't know, 100-car pileup, 8 people, 9 people died. Forget about being civilized. We're a train wreck. We're a train wreck. I mean, we're a train wreck. I mean, you could go. Look, I mean, go back with the the police. I'm not saying that police are good, but police could be bad. I mean, the violence. It goes on. It's Jeremy, just want to make sure that we all understand we're not civilized. One of the things we do though is the founding fathers. If you look at all the world, this is what I want to make a point. You look at society. You look at the 4,000, 5,000 years that we've been on this earth.
Yeah.
Right. We've had different Genghis Khan. You had, Napoleon. You had everything came up, and then you had this experiment. It's called the United States of America. Okay, and you have these. You have a thought that the people could run their own deal, run their own government. Now, of course, they excluded blacks and other minorities, but that was rectified, in my opinion, about 100, a little over about 100 years later. Okay, because you figure 1776, 1876, the Civil War is 1865. We reconsidered what we consider equal, and we've been going ever since. We've had gyrations up and down. We've had it's not perfect. Founding fathers weren't perfect. We're not perfect. But what is a better scenario? And what I'm trying to tell people, this idea of equity is goes down the road of in my opinion, communist socialism, and it has failed in the past. So I'm just throwing it out there. Think about it, everybody. And I might be wrong. This is an opinion, but my opinion is I'd rather go with the equal opportunity for everybody, and try to strive on that. Give everybody a job, make jobs available. If you truly are weak or mentally ill or disabled, you should get everything. We should help. Each one of us should help. And I can tell you that doesn't happen. And I go to a lot of countries. There's countries out there that have not one bit of facilities for the handicapped. Americans with Disabilities Act. I was in Jamaica. I didn't have none of that there. A lot of countries, but they can't afford it. Maybe, I don't know. But we're so accommodative in this country. We just got to not tear ourselves apart, and we got to continue on to go after those good ideals. So I'm trying to pull people back. You're going down the wrong road. Let's go the other way. Gotcha. All right. Yeah. So we got one more thing we want to talk about, Jeremy. Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
No,
okay.
No, I'm good today.
So,
how long have we been on here?
We've been on about 57 minutes. We got a little bit. We want to do one other thing. I want to talk about medicine now. We're going to do a little shift. So what's the shift we're going to talk about here?
I thoroughly enjoyed that conversation, incidentally.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did, dear Jeremy.
Let me just find one more. I like the back and forth, You
like the back and forth?
Oh, love the back and forth.
All right. So this one here, I'm gonna talk about something real briefly because we've had case of the week, and I've had several what we define in our vocabulary is morbidly obese. And I was looking at the criteria here, and they're saying anybody 100 pounds over their normal weight. But I had a patient who was 535 pounds, and he was is a 40-year-old male. There was, in the hospital that I was at, the same hospital, the same time, there was a 700-pound individual, and there was another one, 5 and 6. What I read here is that there's quite a few Americans. Some of the statistics talk about maybe 20% of the population, maybe more, maybe 30%. You got it's hard to decide, but let's just say that it's 20%. Which I think is reasonable and conservative. That's about 60 million people in the United States, maybe more, that are morbidly obese. Probably more. And there's pictures out there. You see these people, and it's considered. I've seen videos, and again, this is about being woke and not upsetting somebody.
Yeah.
And you say, well, what happened was with the granddaughter. We were out, and she's 9 years old, and she's eating all kinds of shit. We tell her not to eat it, right? And I said to her, listen, you are going to get fat. You eat that gummy bears and all that stuff, you're going to be obese. And that's not good. and I got yelled at by her the aunt, everybody. They're like, don't say that to her. You'll give her poor body image and all of this.
Word fear.
Well, it's word fear, but it's also, I guess, we had this thing back in the day. And again, I'm giving you my experience. When I was a young kid and everything, very few people were fat. It was, and we say fat. And when I got older, again, the population wasn't that bad, but you wouldn't see that much. But we were told you got to work out, you got to exercise, and being slim is good. And then you started to get this time where right around the 80s, there was this anorexic. People were getting anorexic. Remember that Karen Carpenter?
Yeah.
She died. I treated patients. I'm not making a joke about this. I remember a guy came in. It was my first patient I treated, and he looked like so skinny. He was dying. And I interviewed him, and I remember asking him, one of the things you ask is, how long does it take you to eat certain kind of food? He would say it would take him like about a day to eat a hamburger. They just couldn't eat. It's the weirdest thing. And then you have bulimia, where people were eating, going to the bathroom, sticking their finger, throwing up.
I was just telling my son about the ancient Romans and how they had vomitoriums, and it was a practice. You eat your food and then you go and throw it up, as though hunger was just flavor that needed to be satiated, and then you can get rid of the solids.
Yeah. I think we've been fighting obesity in this world for a long time, and I think we're losing in this country. But it also becomes a political. I'm bringing up, of course, it's a medical thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and I just want to throw this here. I just want to show you here. This is just that people. I do not buy in a heartbeat that. Let me get this phone here. That here. So these are commonly more than 3 million U.S. cases per year. That's added to the rolls of morbidly obese. But I'm just going to try here. Well, I just want to see if they ask what the problems are. I wanted to see if I had it here, and I guess I don't have it here. Let me go back here. While you're talking, Jeremy, let me give you back here. Hang on.
See, that was the problem anyway, sending them to a Mayo clinic. The cholesterol in a jar of mayonnaise, they'll just puff you out, Look at me. I never ate mayonnaise, but I got this big. Oh, my God.
So I'm just trying to see what are, so with obesity, let me make the point here. I had the article here and I lost it. But it definitely takes years off your life. Remember, we were talking about this the other day when you talk about what's considered causes medical problems or not. I remember back in the day, okay, and this is lifespan, but back in the day, they used to have commercials for cigarette smoking, Jeremy. You're probably not old enough. They used to have commercials for doctors. You saw them?
I'm 48 years old.
Okay, so you had the doctors come in and go, 7 out of 10 doctors say that smoking is not going to cause you cancer, and they recommend Chesterfields or whatever.
Right.
That was on the news all the time. There was commercials, and I remember arguing that smoking doesn't cause a problem. You tell any doctor today, or probably any person, that cigarettes that cigarettes are not harmful, and they're like, look at you, they cause cancer. It's on the package. But you know what the thing is too? People
Surgeon
still
General
smoke.
put it on the package. Yeah, they still do. But you're right. You're 100%. 100% right.
This here, let me get out of here. I just hit this. I hit the thing wrong. If you look here,
obesity,
and I want to go here. This is one right here. I like this right here. Oh. So
those with a body mass index or BMI above 40 are robbed of at least 6.5 years on average of expected lifespan. A study has found in the.
Oh, sorry. Here.
Yeah, in the toll in years lost rises with the degree of obesity, reaching nearly 14 years for the most obese. Those with a BMI above 55, researchers said, "Wow."
That was in 2014.
Yeah, and
I don't want to belay the matter here. I could tell you that the
6.5 years when you feel like your number's up and you are obese. 6.5 years is everything to you.
Well, let me tell you a couple things from my perspective. What happens with weight? First of all, it puts a tremendous amount of stress on your body. But these people who are 500, 600, 700 pounds, they can't function. You can't function. And it's a real societal problem right now, because if they get in a car accident, or some of them can't even drive, they're young people. They're in their 30s and 40s. And we see it on TV, but there's millions and millions, and a lot of them are functioning. But it's hard to get them in. If they need a CAT scan, they need an MRI. It's hard to transport them. If they have in a car accident, to put them to get them on a dolly, a stretcher, and put them in an ambulance. You have to have special ambulance. We have OR tables now that have to go up to 1,000 pounds. What if you got a 700-pound 40-year-old patient who has a gallbladder? I mean, that's a tough thing. What about in the ocean when they're swimming? They go in the water. We talked about this the other day to make a rescue. It's becoming a real big issue all across the board. And when I think it's an illness. I don't think they're lazy. I don't think they I think it's a real medical issue, and there's lap banding. There's all kinds of procedures.
This is a lifeguard question. Just lifeguard history. Before the invention of jet skis and all of that, how many lifeguards were pulled down with obese people they were trying to save?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe not too many, because we have flotation devices and we're smart
now. About before all these.
Well, there wasn't that many. I tell you, Jeremy, I've been there for 30 years. I mean, I go to Wawa and sit out front and watch all the people go in there. I mean, our country is fat. I'm sorry. I know. And my point is that what I'm saying is that when you get older, I understand we all get chubby, but what I don't like, and what I don't believe, and I don't see, is that it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay to smoke cigarettes. It's not okay to smoke pot. It's going to affect you. I mean, I know you don't get. Look at Jeremy. I say it's okay to pop pot. But I know. But you know what? You're going to get cardiovascular disease. At that point, listen, there's a lot of people who will have vices, and I understand that. Alcohol is not good. We're not perfect, and we're gonna bang around and do what we got to do. But for people to sit there and criticize other people for giving the warning, I'll be criticized for saying, let them eat as much as they want. It's a body image. It's okay. It's okay. And it's not okay. It's when I say it's not okay, it's the same thing about smoking pot, smoking cigarettes. You're taking years off your life, and there is a level of obesity that really starts to become a problem. It puts pressure on your kidneys. You got more chance of diabetes. And if we look at with this corona, I think once the studies come out, the people, because vaccine and not vaccine, we went on that road. But if you take everything, you do a study, and I'm starting to see more literature, that you carve out vaccine or not vaccine. People who were dying more were older, definitely older, and obese, fatter.
Yeah.
So it can't be good for you.
Francine, buddy.
Francine. Well, but you understand what my point is.
No, I got your point.
And what were we going to say?
No, you're 100% right. I agree. I mean, we were even saying before the show about the prices of cigarettes, and I mean, just for a carton, and people are still smoking. So still smoking. I don't have the disposable income to be able to be a smoker anymore. Prices just went up. And then when Clinton was in office, he put a lot of things into place about, getting people off of cigarettes, like raising the price up to almost ridiculous. And that actually was a good thing he did, because a lot of smokers quit just because of that. Mike?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm looking here, PRI. Price of, what are we saying, a carton of cigarettes?
Yeah.
I don't know. You should look it up on your phone while I'm doing this.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
So what I wanted to say about obesity, first of all, it's sad when I go to the store and it costs me more money to buy good food than bad food. You could go to McDonald's, Burger King, and feed a family of 7 cheaper than you could do if you go to the grocery store and get good food. So that's one of the problems. There you are, talk about equity and helping people out. We tend to we stop doing the exercise. We sit home, the kids watch the videos, and they eat. Jeremy, think about how it was when I went to high school and you went to high school. Remember the John F. Kennedy challenge? You had to run a mile. When I was in high school, you couldn't graduate unless you ran a mile. I don't know if we got any school teachers out there, but I think you couldn't graduate high school if you couldn't run a mile. And I think in college it was like mandatory. You had to run a mile. But you had mandatory phys ed. Is there any more phys ed anymore? I don't even know what they do in phys ed anymore.
No. Yeah, I mean, you had like didn't President Reagan put together the presidential fitness?
Yeah, a
thing?
lot of them did.
We actually I know in like grade school we had to achieve to that point to be that physically.
Right.
You had to do so many pull-ups and so many this and that.
Right.
I mean, but you're right. You know, when I was a kid, I used to be like, I don't want that. But it makes sense. It's good for our people.
I think that we have to look at two things here. One is that being that overweight, that obese, is not okay from a health standpoint. How dangerous is it and what is going to happen? I don't have the statistics in front of me, but we're going to have a series on this and talk about what are the downsides and how many people in this country and how does that affect us societally wise? You know, Jeremy, you're talking about equal opportunity or outcomes. What happens when you're 700 pounds? What expectations does that individual have for the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness? You know, you're going to have to build. If you own, let me ask this, Jeremy, you own a restaurant. Are they going to make you put seats in there to accommodate a 600-pound patient, a person? No, I'm serious. Or you own a ride. You have an amusement center. And I go there, and I'm there with my, husband who's 600 pounds, and you can't fit him on the ride.
Right.
Well, that's bullshit.
No. I've already been. Hold on a second. I got a story for that one.
Get me.
I've already been in that situation because I'm a big guy, folks. If you've ever seen the show, I'm built for comfort. You know what I'm saying? But
let's get a faraway shot here. There's Jeremy.
There
Jeremy.
I am. It's like I'm better than a globe. You can see all kinds of countries around me. I went to Six Flags with my family, and we're walking around, and I'm like, it's been a long time since I've been on a roller coaster.
Right.
I think I'm going to try that out.
Right.
So I go to like some superhero roller coaster, and they got a sample chair. Right. Before you even get into line,
and you
broke
it, and you sat and you broke it.
I couldn't get in it. And then I look up, and there's a sign there for people with a unique body type. You will not be able to ride this ride. And I'm like, that was the most polite way of saying I'm a fat bastard.
Right, a fat bastard. So let's go back to our theme today.
Yeah.
Equity. Opportunity. Okay.
I want to say this before we go back because I got the info you want.
Yeah, let me see. Hang on. Let me pull it up. Is it there? Let me put your phone on.
Oh,
hang on 1 second. Let me get you here. So Jeremy's going to throw it up. For anybody who's watching this, you really should go on our here it is, Jeremy.
So in New York, the price for a pack of cigarettes is $12.85, $4.35 for tax. So then let's go to my little.
So what's the total? What's the total for?
The total is $171 if you want a carton of cigarettes. $107. When I quit smoking, it was $2.10 for a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, there's a lot of tax on it.
Yeah. But that price, I saw that price going uppity up, and went during Clinton's time, and I saw what they were doing, and they were making it harder and harder. Especially for the older people, they're on a fixed income. If you're able to spend $171 on something, you're probably a chain smoker if that's the case, and you're blowing through.
Well, you're addicted to the tobacco.
I was 3.5, sometimes 4 packs a day.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That's almost half a carton.
Yeah, you couldn't afford it. Well, that's one of the reasons why they did it, but people are still smoking. So getting back to the woke, because you're woke, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Jeremy's for
I'm
people.
not woke.
Jeremy's woke. I'm not woke. So, Jeremy, what are we going to do now
here.
if we have in this country, let's just say 60 million people who are morbidly obese? Yeah. Should we start then making mandatory seats for rides, make sure that every hospital. I mean, I think every hospital should be able to accommodate these people. That's different. But when we talk about going down that road, so we got to do one of the two things here. I think that we need to make sure that we can treat these people from a medical standpoint. That's where I'm coming from. I need to be able to put them in the hospital and move them around and get them into an X-ray machine or a CAT scan or an MRI. We're working on that.
See, all right, I'm a big guy now. When I have to go and get something like that, I will go to there's a place on 37. It's an upright MRI.
Right. But
and
Jeremy,
it's kind of like sitting in a chair, but you're still crushed in there. My arms.
Jeremy, you're small compared to some of these other people.
Yeah. Well, I told you last week. I mean, a regular MRI, there's not enough butter in the world that's going to grease me into that.
We need to have, but as far as just saying that, okay, and I see them on the internet. They're like, "There's nothing wrong with me," I could be, and I'm going there. Well, I disagree from a medical standpoint because I see the downsides of wherever that tipping point is. I see their legs are so infected, their kidneys start to go, their cardiovascular system, the heart's pumping so much blood, diabetes is almost there. Now, thank God we got these doctors out there.
But you're also you have to deal with lesser scans. If some of them can't do the MRI, you're looking at CAT scans that aren't going to show you what you were hoping the MRI would.
Well, they're coming out with the facilities now. It's very expensive, but they're starting to do it. But I have people who have had bypass sleeves and everything, and still they drift back. It's tough. It's a really tough disease, and
we're the fattest country in the world, but we're still living in a size medium country.
Well, if you look at
everything in this country is size medium.
Well, if you look at, I don't know if that's the case, but I could tell you, South America has some of the highest levels of diabetes per capita, and it has to do a lot of they call it the starve gene. The American Indians, the same thing. They're used to eating a small amount of food, go from one spot to the next, and then they get introduced to this Western diet, and they're blowing up like really, really bad. There's a lot of carbohydrates, and they get a lot of diabetes. You got these children and that's another thing. Child obesity is out of control, and that is. Can you talk about impacting the medical society, medical establishment? These children need to be on medication. They get blood pressure issues. Their life expectancy
and diet. Look where they're coming from though. Like the schools don't help. A lot of these schools, they're like cafes with milkshake machines and all of this jazz. So these kids are going for the goodies, and they're not going for the healthier choices.
Because I telling you, Jeremy, I see it on the other side. Michael, they yell at me, don't say anything. Don't tell them they're going to get fat. Don't tell them to not eat that. That's not right. You can't say that. And I'm sitting there going, well, I don't think that's the answer. Right. I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to hurt their feelings. But you know what? Maybe their feelings, they need to be acknowledged
Okay. I was fat, and I am fat, okay? And I know from my own experiences, I had to either deal with that, in a healthy way. But my back is all screwed up and stuff, so it's like exercise isn't really a choice for me. Eating healthy, well, I don't eat much to begin with, really. If I'm working, especially, I don't eat anything at all. Right. So, so I had to actually grow. I had to start loving myself, if that makes sense. I had to like who I was, being comfortable in the body I had. And that's the big thing. People, they want, if they're fat, they don't want to hear that they're fat. But come on, folks. You're just pulling wool over your own eyes. You're fat. And
you know what, Jeremy? It's hard. We, as physicians and on our end.
And being fat is a choice they make.
Well,
it is. No. There are circumstances that are, they're extenuating circumstances. Like for me, my back is all screwed. I can't really do what I could to get into a healthier shape. But for the most part, with double-sized soda cups from McDonald's, or just McDonald's.
Yeah, but you know
or
what's interesting?
Wendy's,
But
or all of these places. If you've ever tried at dinner time to try to go into a McDonald's here in Brick, right? You're waiting forever to get through because the line is out to the street.
Right.
That's all we eat every single day. So then you don't want to be called obese? Come on, guys.
Well,
Come on.
I know that a lot
That's
of people
coming from a fat dude.
Right. A lot of people are functional, like they call them functional alcoholics. They're functional fat people. Or obese people. They could function, but I don't know how to explain away a 5, 6, 7, 800-pound individual. There's got to be mental issues.
That's tough.
I mean, you really have to try hard.
Right.
And
also, if I can't walk or function, right. I mean, you got to start doing the math as a person. Like, if I keep on going on at this rate, I am going to become one of those 400, 500.
Right.
You know, like the old days on shows like Jerry Springer, where they had to cut out a piece of the house and get you a forklift.
Yeah, but I don't think so. I think you have enough discipline. You're in your.
No, but some people don't have that discipline.
No. And that's why we need research. That's why I went. We should be spending. Instead of saying to the people, I understand, don't criticize them or chastise them so you get them mental, the little kids. But you also we need to approach this where it has to be a little bit more saying, listen, that's not good. That's not good behavior. We want you to eat good food. We want you to exercise. That's better for the long run. And then also we need to be spending money on tons of research because this gastric bypass and what we're doing right now is good, but it's not there yet. I mean, I don't know what the answer is, but we have to do something. And I'm not just talking about people who are a little bit overweight. Well, I'm talking about these morbidly obese where I'm having a hard time dealing with them. Yeah. And it's the same thing with cigarette smoking. For years, I used to say to people, you stop the smoking. At least now, most of the patients I deal with don't smoke. The other thing I try to tell them is, with the marijuana, it's, and the drugs and the alcohol, everything in moderation. But I still got people that are banging the drum on that. They're killing themselves. I got a couple alcohol. I mean, the other day I had a guy, he's got alcoholic neuropathy. His legs are so bad, his bones are breaking down. He's drinking. He drinks, 2, 3, what do you call it? 6 packs of beer a day. They goes on and on. Yeah. So it's a real difficult problem. What were you going to say? Because we can end this. Yeah, what were you going to say?
No, I'm good. I think this has been a great show. I think if you are a big person, if you're trapped in your body, that's a different thing. Like for some people like myself, it's harder for me to lose the weight because I can't do the physical exercise that's needed as well as the dieting. Dieting I can do, but without that physical exercise, I'm just gonna torment myself for the rest of my life. So I think for most people that are big, if there is no way to change your predicament, don't make it any worse, but embrace who you are.
Yeah.
Don't be so ashamed, because that's the other problem with this country is body shaming, and people do.
Well, that's what we're talking about.
With
but that's
rash
different,
abandon.
Right? That's not, and there's a fine line. That's why if I say something to the granddaughter, I'm body shaming. That's why
from a doctor, no.
Well, but even if it's if it's a concerned grandfather, let's say,
right.
And you can say, well, don't buy. No, that's where. We've gotten
people of weight.
No,
but then you're getting way woke.
Jeremy, we had the thing back in the day, and I was a doctor then, with the anorexia and the bulimia, and it was bad. And Karen Carpenter was one of the ones. She died from that. It was a lot of people that were really, just had this syndrome. Yeah. So then they say, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything. But now we're to the point where we're walking on eggshells, and the obesity in this country is getting out of control. Oh, yeah. It's getting out of control. That's what I'm just saying is there's got to be we in this country and in the world, people generally, we go from one extreme to the next. We're either shaming people to where they're dying of 90 pounds, they look like they got cancer, to where now we got. I got them, Jeremy. We had in the hospital, one hospital I was at, we had 4 patients on the same friggin' floor, weighed between 500 and 700 pounds, and they were in their 30s and 40s. And that's, if you look at the statistics, if you look at the CDC, they're saying that I think it was 37% of the American population is obese. Now, not morbidly obese. I think that's more like 20%. So you're talking, but obese, big fatso.
Big guy.
Now, big guy. Now, if you contrast
beer gut
okay,
kind of guy.
and this is why people talk about our country, capitalism, and they're saying this is, we got to do something different here. If you look at China, you know what their obesity rate is? About 5%.
Really?
5-6%. Well, that's because a billion people ain't got. They have like 2 grains of rice a day and they live like slaves. But point is that, and they got no food. Right. You have that contrast. So you could say that it has to do with our society and us being woke and we're not going to say anything or poor food. Whatever you want to say, we're in trouble. And the other thing I'm waiting to come out with, I know I got to give everybody all bad news, is the overdosing deaths in this country.
Yeah,
I bet it's going to be over 100,000 since April of 21 to April 22. And just remember, you had the people that we got to clean up our act. That's why the medicine part of this, I know it gets kind of shaky, but I think that people with weight and everything, Jeremy, like for you, you are keeping at a level, which is good.
Yeah.
And
because before I had my accident that hurt my back,
right,
I was 210 pounds. That was it.
Right.
5 up, 5 down, but nothing more.
Yeah. Now, right. But here's the thing, Jeremy. What you don't want to do, and this is one of the things that I'm trying to tell people, is I'm not saying everybody has to get down to the ideal body weight. And for you, you're functioning. As long as you could function, you could drive a car, you could get in a car, or you could go in a car, you could go in maybe a ride, maybe you could get a little. But where there's more and more people who are going over this edge, going into the 500, 600 pounds, where it's horrible. We can't. I mean, it's a tough life, and you can't function, and it's becoming a real tough thing on the medical situation, a medical system, and that's why I'm saying, that's where we got to start pulling back. We really should be concentrating on these people. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the doctor, what kind of surgery you could do, rehab, get facilities to really work on this, because there's a lot of young people, and I don't want to just warehouse them and then let them die. It's not right.
We got to educate our children when they're young about all that too. It was St. Patty's Day, and I saw as the little ones are running around, like 5, 6 years old, and the one that's 5, she's pointing at 2 things she wants right now. She wants Sour Patch Kids and Pepsi.
Yeah,
and she wants a handful of that and a big cup of that.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow, that's the mom was smart, and a good mom. She said, no effing way.
Well, I think the parents have to do a lot. Well, anyway, we got a lot of problems to solve here.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring that up because, in my opinion, it's becoming a bigger issue in this world, in this country, and it's something that, like, maybe it's self-induced. I still think that people it's a medical issue. It's a genetic thing. It's not that they're necessarily lazy, but maybe you might say it's a habit. I think a lot of people I always hear the word comfort food. It's what when we grew up, we always ate as a family and socialized. And I think that as you get older, kind of everybody gets chubby. You don't see too many as you get old. So I could give that, but this
older people, especially if you get married, at some point.
So marriage causes you to get fat. Is that the deal?
For some people, it does. Sure,
that's a good.
That's true, because you don't have to keep yourself healthy looking for somebody to spend the rest of your life with. You both can be like us. Screw it. Now we can be happily fat together.
Oh man. Well, that's these young kids listen to us. They're not gonna get married. They're like, holy shit. So I don't have to work out anymore. Listen, we want to say goodbye. Jeremy, what do we
always say? I always say, and Mike always agrees with me. Let's try to be kind to each other. Let's show some tolerance in our world for one another. We don't have to hate. Let's love for a while, huh?
Well, I think that's a good idea, Jeremy. I know we want to be. Well, how about this, Jeremy? How about we get more civilized? let's work to becoming more civilized. That's Jeremy's. We're going to do.
Once we figure out what
What's
that is.
Yeah, I want to just throw it out there, people. We do this radio show every Friday. This is Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. Here's the thing. Here, it's called. If you guys want to get a hold of us, it's Dr. Kachmar. That's DrKachmar at iCloud.com.
And with that American flag above your head,
yes, it is.
You should run for president.
Well, I don't know about that. No. Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center.com. That's our webpage. Land there. It is chock full of information about our medicine, about what we do. Just really a great general place. Also.
Tomorrow morning, we have Radio Free America with Dr. Barbara Schneider on the Cachmore network
at
11
o'clock, right? 11 to 12
tomorrow morning,
live.
So live. So I'll be there. Dr. Barbara Schneider will be there. Mike will be there. Come and join the show. It's a hoot.
Jeremy, what we got to do is later on we got to put those things on here, so I could put them here so they could see it. So that's Radio Free
America.
With Radio Free America with Dr.
Barbara Schneider.
So look that up on YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook, and follow it tomorrow. And you guys could comment.
iTunes.
Also, we're going to have Dr. Jasper soon.
He'll be coming back soon, and it's the rebirth of Painless. With Dr. Gabriel Jasper, MD. And
I can't wait for that. That's going to be great.
Well. Yeah,
and we also have.
He's never even been in here yet.
No. We also have Lifeguards Off Duty with Dr. Michael Kachmar.
That's right.
And let me just throw it up there so people can look at that. That is our other show, and it's really good. It's really, really neat. There it is there, Lifeguards Off Duty. And I think, Jeremy, what we're going to do is we may have another radio station, another channel, and that might be Free Speech with Dr. Michael Kachmar.
Free Speech.
We might just, because what's happening is we have our medical show, which is medical and political with medicine. So we may kind of change them. We'll see.
I'd like a risque kind of show, Mike, where we can just
get thrown off.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
No, maybe we do it Rumble exclusive show where we can talk freely without any kind of censorship.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. We're going to get censored anyway. So listen, thank you, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar, and you've been listening to Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar.
That's right, guys.
And just to remind you guys, we're on Rumble, we're on YouTube, and we're on Facebook Live, and then it gets archived. We're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Oh, and this is the one thing I keep remembering to say to everybody who loves our shows.
What's that?
Please share our shows
Yes.
on your platforms.
Like and subscribe.
That is how, that word of mouth and that sharing, that's how people are going to find us and will allow our shows to grow bigger so we can bring in better content for all of you.
Hit the like button and subscribe and give us some comments.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jeremy, we're going to finish here. So we're going to say
All right.
goodbye.